Okay, this is a re-review of the TriSquare TSX300 portable radio. I did a test on this radio a couple of months ago and had some problems with the radios, and it turns out that they were defective. And now that we have them replaced and they seem to be working, I am going to compare it to a Motorola MR350, which is a 460 megahertz radio, which are very popular. One thing to keep in mind, the Motorola outputs at 2 watts and the TriSquare outputs at 1 watt. The TriSquare is a spread spectrum radio and the other one is just a conventional. I will be testing it at quarter mile, 3/10 of a mile, 4/10 of a mile, and 5/10. Well, we're going to go out to 1/2 mile as our test. So let's get to it.
Okay, now that I'm heading to the quarter mile mark, a little bit about the TriSquare radio. One of the advantages is the batteries can be charged outside the radio, whereas the Motorola Talkabout, you can't do that. That's one of the advantages. The other advantage to the TriSquare is its privacy. It's difficult to monitor with conventional equipment, but it does transmit in analog, so it's not totally secure.
Alright, this concludes the field test of the TriSquare TSX300 and the Motorola MR350 radio. Clearly, each radio has their advantages and disadvantages. And as you make your decision, you need to decide, what features you want versus what you want to trade off. I think both radios are valuable, but just depending on the environment that you're in as to which one is better. Lastly, weather conditions was sunny, temperature was 73 degrees, relative humidity was 45%. So it was a good clear day for those that want to study the radio propagation stuff. So take care, have a good one.